Yeah, so time now money, and now with that better song, I would welcome you come to day edition of Money Sense, where we dey hear from iPod 102.7 FM. Yes, for all my listeners out there, a pleasant afternoon to you, all the way from iPod 102.7 FM, live in Emurelia, Ondo State. And yes, welcome to another edition of Money Sense, your weekly guide to spending prudently. Yes, if you want to spend your money well, where we say so much, say you go feed the account for every amount where you don't spend or that you're still spending. Now the program where you need listen to be this, because on this program we dey tackle things wey concern your own budget, concern your own money wey you dey spend. I am Florence Ibarema. Friends call me FLOXY. You sef fit call me FLOXY. You sabi say on top the word wey we dey now, wey be say to save dey very hard and to spend no dey take time at all. You say you go agree with me, say you need that energy, you need that sense wey go help you manage the money wey you dey make, so that by the time you finish, you go fit account say, okay, now wetin I spend my money put na be this. Now why the money remain like this? Now why I can't get plenty yafun for inside my account be this. And today we will be tackling a very, very important aspect of your money, which is the difference between your wants and your needs. Yes, now still iPower 102.7 FM you're listening to live for Emurelia, and I be Florence Ibarema. You fit call me FLOXY if you don't mind. And on top today programming, we dey talk about your need and your wants, how it take dey affect your financial prudency, how it take be say if you don't manage your wants and your need well, if you even make money can't become person you even get at the end of the day. So the basic difference between your wants and your needs, how you need to manage your wants and your needs so much that at the end of the day you would have enough to spend. Yeah, so for those wondering what time it is, it's still Money Sense on iPower 102.7 FM. And today we're talking about the difference between your wants and your needs, and how you can manage your wants so much that you have enough and you can account for every penny you make. For those wondering what are needs and what are your wants, now note that your needs are the essentials of survival. Yes, we dey count down from the food wey we dey chop, whatever we dey drink, house wey we dey live, and basic things wey we say we dey do make we for no kpai. So every time you're taking into consideration of what do I eat, where do I sleep, how do I survive for today, note that you're taking precautionary motive for your needs. You are utilizing the needs for your survival. Now, if you're not wondering what are your wants, now wants are basically things that enhances your comfort. Yes, things that add to your status. For instance, now you agree with me that okay, I need a car. It's quite different from I need this brand of a car to add to my fleet of cars. That statement in itself already shows that the first one means I need a car, basically because you don't have a car before and you would need it for your transportation to and fro. Why you need a particular brand to add to the ones you already have, just interpret that what you already have cars, and maybe because this brand is the latest of it, you want to just have it into your collections of cars. Now, why do we need to talk about our wants, and why do we need to talk about our needs? Now, the first thing is it helps you to clarify the major things you need and those things that should fall under your wants. That's the first thing. You are able to clarify them. You're able to classify them. Okay, my food is a need. Every day I must eat something to stay healthy, to survive. My shelter where I lay my head after the day's work is my need. Now, I want to get this fashion, this rated fashion dress. I want to get this class of dress. I want to get this kind of bag. I want to get this brand of shoes I want, because obviously you should have, or it is expected that you have shoes you're wearing, but because you need a brand, it now falls under your want. So now, the first thing you need to do when understanding your wants and your need, or while we're talking about this topic today, is because there should be a major difference between your needs and your wants. And the first thing you need to understand in identifying them is what you classify them differently. Okay, these are my needs and these are my wants. Now, the next thing is what it helps you to work on your budget. If you're the kind of person that you earn on a monthly basis, you would understand that certain things that falls under the want should come secondary at all times. And most importantly, your paycheck would also determine how much or how far you can go when you're spending. So if I would say you they work, and at the end of the month they pay you, and even when they pay you, say no come too rich like that, make you take they do the kind of way they hungry you to do. Now, why we need to understand what's in our need and what's in our want, because when you understand what's in your need, you gonna say food go come first before that brand of shoe you desire to buy. Now, also it also helps you, like I said earlier, to classify between your wants and your need, and which comes first on the scale of preference. Now, for you, our beautiful audience, now the essence of all of this edition today is for you to first you distinguish between your wants and your needs. Like I said, your needs are the basic things you need for survival. And don't forget, money sense is put together to help you manage your money. So the moment you're trying to manage your money, it is very important you take note of what are the needs and what are your wants. Now, one of the reasons why today's edition is very important is because it helps you to distinguish between both. Okay, these are my needs, these are my wants. I must eat is a need. I need this pair of shoes to add to my collection of shoes is a want, which can come when you have more than enough, or when you've already exceeded your savings or the target for the month. Also, once you understand that my need is my need and my want is my want, it helps you to be financially independent. Yes, because by then you'll be a financial literate to understand that, okay, I could still wait till maybe the next month or the next paycheck to get this, while I need this at this time. And also, by the time you understand the difference between your needs and your wants, it helps you to make informed decision. You don't just gamble your way through and say, may I just buy this shoe? I need shoe. Then buying a shoe and starving through. There's no financial discipline in that. So by the time you understand this is my need and this is my want, you'll be able to understand, okay, let me make a list where your budget comes from. Let me make a list, my scale of preference, and let me make a list of what I need and what I want. And also in terms of economic context, you are able to balance your equation. Okay, this is what I want to buy, this is what I need for now. But if you don't have that in-depth understanding of what are your needs and what are your wants, you might end up putting your wants above your needs, which at the end of the day will not always and doesn't even end well. Yeah, welcome back. It's very good to know you're still listening to iPower 102.7 FM, and the program is Money Sense. And today we're talking about your need and your want. You know, the goal of the program is to help you manage the money you make, yourself. I am here to help you ensure that you manage them, and it's enough. Even from that little, you can still have a savings if you so wish. Now, what will happen if you prioritize your need, which is that one that requires your survival daily, over your wants? Now, the first thing it's going to help you do is it will help you prevent excessive debt, because you have this discretion of, okay, if I spend on this as to this, I should still be able to survive throughout the month. But if I spend on this as to this, now my this as to this is, if you spend on your need more than you spend on your want, you should be assured of survival over time, and even be able to meet your unforeseen contingencies. But if you prioritize your wants, maybe buying clothes, buying shoes, instead of it to, for instance, now prepare meals at home, you feel, no, let me go and eat out, considering the cost of eating out as to cooking, and even as to you getting filled to the brim, you would agree with me that yes, at the end of the day, even what I said, food as a need can still fall under want, if you know you have a choice of preparing your meal and eating out, because of course you're going to pay for the aesthetics of the place you're going to be eating. So stylishly, it's still going to fall under want if you don't manage it very well. So now, what happens when you prioritize your need, which is the one you need for your daily survival, over your wants? The first thing is you're going to prevent debt. Now, for instance, now if you're going to be eating out, and you're like, okay, maybe if I want to eat out for my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, spending outside will cost me about 20,000 naira. And you know, if you put in 10,000 naira for your food, preparing it yourself, you'll be able to save extra 10,000 naira. So what you'll be able to do in that situation is that you're preventing excessive debt. Now, also, it allows you to save. If you can decide to skip eating out and preparing your meal, for instance, I said 20,000, 10,000. So the remaining 10,000 that would have been used to eat out can be saved or kept aside, or even to be used for other things. Also, it prepares you for emergencies. For instance, now that 10,000 you are able to save from eating out can be used for maybe electricity, water, transport, any other thing. So in other words, you are prepared for eventualities, you are prepared for emergency situations. Things don't just get you off guard because you're already into the budget line, and you're already spending in line with your need. And also, it ultimately reduces financial stress and promotes financial freedom. Money Sense is designed for you to enjoy financial prudency and financial freedom. Now, understanding your need from your want will not only help you live a stress-free life, but rather it will help you to ensure you have a financial freedom. You don't just stumble into emergencies and start to panic, because you are rest assured you have everything under check. Also, it allows you to save, and you can even invest towards long-term goals. For instance, now if you feel 10,000 is small, wait until you save it through the year. Save it through 24 months and see how much you'll be having in your savings. So that is why it is very important that you understand the difference between your needs and your wants, and you prioritize your need every time over your wants. Yes, and you're welcome back. It's still Money Sense on iPower 102.7 FM, and we've been talking about your need and your wants, which is more important, which should, I'm not saying that your wants are not important, but according to your budget, according to your paycheck, you should be able to put on a scale of preference which is my need and which is my want, which should come first and which should come last, which should I compromise on and which should I not but just do as it should be. For instance, now you can't tell me because you want to save, you're not going to eat. You understand? So it takes your life, it takes your existence to be able to save. And it takes your existence in good health. When they say health is wealth, to be able to save and enjoy your savings for long-term goals. So now what will happen if you prioritize your wants over your need? What will happen if you prioritize your wants over your need? First thing is, it will lead to financial instability. You make, for instance, now you make 50,000 naira, for instance, at the end of the month, and you're eyeing a shoe or a particular brand that costs like 30,000 naira for just a pair of shoe, knowing fully well that in that same 50,000 naira, you need to eat, you need to get you need to pay for your unforeseen contingencies, you need to pay for your light bill, you need to get yourself to and fro work. So what will happen if you decide to actually prioritize that pair of shoe because it's a brand you love and you must have over your basic needs? It only means that financially you are not going to be stable. So first things first, it actually leads to financial instability. You end up borrowing, you end up, under pressure, you'll be tense, you'll feel unhappy, and subsequently you can even get depressed because what? You simply do not prioritize your needs over your wants. Also, like I said earlier, it will increase your stress. If you had rather gone for maybe planned or saved maybe a 2,000 naira weekly or monthly towards achieving that particular brand of shoe, maybe which will cost you maybe 6 months, depending on what your scale of your income is and your streams of income. Instead of you to just go through that route of, okay, let me start saving maybe 1K or 2K steadily till it gets to that 30,000 naira. If you decide to take it once from your salary, you should know that it's going to give you stress. Because ordinarily, what shouldn't work you up, what shouldn't get you paranoid, what shouldn't get you pissed would get you pissed, because you've actually altered your scale of preference and you've actually placed your wants over your needs. And another thing is what is going to hinder your long-term goals. Imagine someone taking out 30,000 naira now from their savings to just get a pair of shoe, which is not even food, which is not even where they would sleep, which is not even electricity for their survival, which is not even data. You can imagine how the month is going to look so long and so stressing. So it's going to hinder long-term goals because you might not even be able to save as much as you would want to save, because already you can't even save yourself daily as it comes. And another thing is it gives you this sense of false prosperity. Because so for someone who hasn't eaten and has this flux of shoes, flux of bags, flux of jewelries, flux of clothes, and they are not things you can actually sell, they don't appreciate. You'll be thinking in your head, I have properties, I have things. Whereas in the real sense of it, in your bank account, there is nothing to write home about. So it is always important that you prioritize your need over your want. Now, how do you actually achieve this financial stability? Through knowing your need and understanding your wants. How do you understand? How does it come to play? Now, the first thing is it helps in terms of your budgeting. You can achieve this in terms of your budgeting. If you're running by a 50,000 naira paycheck, for instance, and you have your list already of what are important for your needs and what are important for your wants, keeping a strict financial budget discipline would help you manage yourself through till you get the next paycheck. So now you can only achieve your financial stability if first you understand your budget and you work by your budget. Also, you set your priorities right at all times. Like I said, your needs are your food, shelter, clothing, because of course you don't have to go naked. Now there's a difference between you getting your clothes for everyday activity and going for some selected brands which you know ordinarily you cannot afford based on how you're earning. So also, if you actually work by these rules, when it comes to emergency funding, you are not found wanting. You are always prepared for eventualities because of course you have on your budget the part which is for savings or unforeseen needs. So what will happen? You can only achieve all of these if you first keep your budget strictly on discipline. You also prioritize your needs from your wants and of course your long-term dreams. Now when you prioritize your needs from your wants, the following will happen. Like I've been saying all of today, if you prioritize your need from your wants, first you're going to achieve financial security and financial stability. Note that your needs are the things you need for everyday survival. Every day you need to eat, you need shelter, you need clothes, you need electricity, you need data, because as of today it is said that data is life. So now if you now prioritize your needs over some certain leisures, certain class, certain luxury, the following would happen. One, you are going to achieve financial stability and security. The next thing is it's going to reduce your financial stress, if not to zero, but at least to the barest minimum. Nothing will just eat you and you start to fidget because you have everything under control. Also, it enables you to progress in terms of long-term goals. You can set goals of, okay, maybe at the end of 6 months, I want to get these pairs of shoes. You know, over time, you're going to get it. Also, it helps you to improve on your self-control. You don't just stumble on things you like and you feel, I must get it, I must get it. You are not under any kind of pressure to go overboard that is going to eat on your need for survival. Also, it helps you to express, when it comes to management, you're able to manage yourself in terms of budgeting and your expenses. You're also able to live a meaningful life. Then, you are able to manage your debt. You are able to manage your debt. So these are all of the things that would happen if you are able to manage your need from your want. Yes, so na true word I dey tell you so. Money no dey fall from heaven. Now why money sense dey for you? So that the money wey you dey make, you go fit spend them wisely. And we've been talking about need and want all of today. What's the difference between your need and your want? And how does it actually end up keeping you financially stable if you truthfully, diligently manage your need from your wants? And I have been talking about your need, which is your basic things for survival, the food, the shelter, the clothing, and every other thing you need daily to survive. While your wants are just those luxury things that add to your survival. Getting a branded bag, a branded shoe, a branded jewelry, a brand that has a name, as to getting just the ordinary one according to your paycheck. And like I said, if you follow strictly the rules that guide us for the needs and wants, the things that you're going to enjoy basically is your life is going to be a lot easier, which is why money sense is for you. Your life is going to be a lot more easier. You're going to be having a stress-free life. You're going to have things under control. Nothing comes to you and you just start fidgeting. You just start wondering, how do I move? How do I go about it? So, and that is how far we can go on today's edition of Money Sense. Many thanks to everyone who has worked with me on today's edition, from my studio manager, MTK, to my manager for ICT, that's Shagun, and of course to my Oga at the top, Engineer Port Oloto, to the head of programs, head of news, the editors, everybody. I sincerely want to appreciate everybody for working with me, to my engineers that always ensure that my voice is always amplified. Thank you so much. And of course, I'll come your way again next week. It is very important that you use your sense to spend your money. Hence why Money Sense is always available for you on weekly basis, for you to actually have one extra tip so you don't spend your money and later regret. Till I come your way again next week, stay blessed, spend wisely, and of course, make use of Money Sense to spend your money. I am Florence.